we shouldn't have to do anything twice. Even if it's just typing a line of code twice, we shouldn't ever be typing the same line of code exactly twice within a program. That's a good rule of thumb. There are some exceptions, very, very rare cases, but that's a great rule of thumb to see whether what we're doing is redundant or not. So, how do we get around this problem? Let's take these lines out. And what we're going to do in order to replace them is to use a function. And how we define our own function is we use this syntax. We use the keyword function, and then we give our function a name. This can be whatever we want. So let's call it F to C. Fahrenheit to Celsius. It's a converter. And we're going to have it store one variable as an argument, and that's going to be included within these round brackets here. Then we're going to have these curly brackets, just like an if statement or a for loop, that encloses the block of code that follows the function definition. And this, whatever we type in here, is what the function will do. So in this case, we're going to define a variable c, and we're going to set it to f minus 32 times 5 divided by 9, and then we're going to use the return command, return c. So essentially what this does is any time we call this function f to c, it'll do this, and it'll put whatever we put after the return command in the place of the function that we include within the script. That may be a little confusing. So let's start out with a very simple function, and we're going to call it squeak, and it's going to take no arguments, and all it's going to do is return the word squeak. Actually, let's not use squeak, let's use something onomatopoeic like ee. Okay, now you may be able to guess what this is doing, but I just want to spell out exactly what a function does. We say echo, and then we type in the function name. PHP will arrive at the function name, squeak, and replace it with whatever we've said after return. This is known as a return function. So if we carry out that script, as we can see, it's echoed E to the browser. So we can see basically what's going on with this function. Another thing to note is that the function doesn't have to be defined before we call it. That's why it's a good idea to put our functions right down the bottom of the script, where they're out of the way. This is a new feature as of PHP 4. Now, let's use our Fahrenheit to Celsius converter. Now that we can see how a return function swaps whatever we put after the return command for the function name included in the script. And all we're going to do is we're going to say echo f to c 212. Then we're going to put in a line break, and we're going to say echo f to c 67. We'll save that, and we'll pop back to our browser. As we can see, two figures are given based on two conversions, but we haven't had to write this code twice. All we've had to write twice is the name of our function. So, as we can see, although this is a very simple example, we could automate as much code as we wanted within this code block and save ourselves a lot of hassle further on down the road.